Hey guys, Kaylin at Elbin Mill Farm. Today I'm going to show you how to start free food. And what I mean by that is taking pieces of stuff from the grocery store and turning it into stuff that you can actually grow. I'm going to bounce around on how I do this, and it's probably going to be shaky because I'm going to be using my hand to hold the camera some, that kind of thing. But let me show you how I cheaply make stuff from things I've either forgotten, that are started to go bad, or I bought too many of. Okay, so first I'm going to set this here and see if I can show you this way. One of the things is potatoes. I have a tendency to not always use the potatoes before I buy more, and you can see that these have started to grow. All you really do with potatoes is take a knife and let them go ahead and get these eyes on them, and then you take a knife and you just cut hunks where those eyes are, and each one of those eyes will be something you can plant. And I'll show you after I get everything ready to plant how to plant each thing. And so each one of these will be a potato plant. I'll set the rest of that aside. And then another one is celery. I cut all the stalks of the celery off and then left the base. You take and you set it in water for about a week, and you need to change the water every day. That way it stays nice and fresh. But once you start to see the inside start to grow, it'll be ready to put in dirt. Another one that I do is sometimes my onions go bad, and they'll start to sprout. And all you do with the onions is you got to get through the good layer, or the outer layers, which is going to be a little gross if in this case it's a rotten one. And you just keep working your way through the layers until you get to the bulbs inside that have started to sprout. So you can see I'm starting to get to where I'm at. Okay, and then, I know the lighting's a little weird, but you can just break those apart. And probably if I wanted to go deeper, there'd be a couple more there. I'm going to peel this one a little bit and see if there's more bulbs inside that could be divided. Okay, I planted a bunch of these, so I'm not totally worried about it, but here's another one. So that's now 2 onions that I can plant. And then garlic is another one I do. These are the itty bitty middles out of your garlic bulbs, and you can see they're already starting to sprout. But so I use the big fat chunks of my garlic and then save these little ones in something in the window, and now I can plant them. And another one is sweet potatoes. I buy sweet potatoes for the rabbits to con them out of their babies when I want to look at babies and they don't want to let me have them. And all you do with those is take the sweet potato and stick it in water, and you want it to cover about half. And if you don't have jars that they'll fit in, you could always do a cup, and people sometimes stick toothpicks through to make it balance up here so that only the bottom's in the water, but I have jars that I'm using. You do need to change the water about every other day. Don't sniff it, it smells terrible, it kind of hurts your lungs. But I take and I pull them out and I rinse them and then put them back in clean water. And you can see all the roots starting. You don't plant the sweet potatoes until what they call the slips, which would be all the green sprouts on the top come out. So these aren't ready yet, but I wanted to show you how to be getting those going, because you want to plant your sweet potatoes later on once it gets warm. So I think I've got 6 jars of these in the window, and I think each sweet potato can make a whole bunch of multiple slips. I've never actually done it this way before, but we're going to see how that turns out. So now that I've got all my pieces I want to plant, I'm actually going to show you how to plant them. Okay, this is where it's going to get a little shaky because I am going to hold it with one hand while I plant. First I'm doing my garlic, and I mean, it really could not be simpler. If it already has the green sprout on it, you want to go ahead and put the bulb down enough so that just the green is sticking out. That one's got just a little bit of green. And you're always putting the flat side that has like where the roots would come out. You always want that down on the bottom. And I'm putting these in a pot still. You could put these in the ground. I'm doing pots still because my last frost date is not till May 15th. So I want to be able to move these guys in and out for as long as I can. So I've got those planted. I'll stick them on a shelf in here in the greenhouse, and hopefully in a couple weeks I'll have some garlic. Okay, onions are the same way as the garlic. They just happen to be bigger, and so they need a bigger pot. Literally same thing. Just get the bulb down in there. Leave the green part on the top. And if you're going to cut them as like green onions, then you can place them a little closer together. But if you're hoping they're going to grow into bigger onions, then they need more space so the onion itself can get bigger. But now that's the onions planted. Next is the celery. Celery's going in a pot still too, just because, like I said, I don't know when my last frost will be, and I'm not willing to risk anything right now. So all you got to do with the celery, same thing. Dig a little hole, and then like you see how you've got your growth, you can take and pull your dirt to where you're just basically leaving the green out. And then that's nice and planted. And it'll continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger as it goes, but that way it's already got some green showing so it can be getting some sunlight and all that good stuff. But that's the celery planted. Okay, this is the potatoes, and I'm going to do them a little different. You can see that's each of the 3 eyes that I cut out, and I am still putting them in a pot. But if you look, instead of having the dirt all the way up, I left the dirt pretty, you know, I put enough in for them to have a good root system, but I left some space. And the reason I'm doing that is because right now all I'm going to do is cover the ones that I cut. And then what I'm going to do is, once these guys start growing, like when they get up to here, I'll add more dirt, and you can keep adding dirt. And if I had a much bigger bucket, I could actually do this a lot. I could plant them in the very bottom and then keep adding dirt. And what you do is when you keep adding the dirt, new potatoes will start. Like, so once the plant gets, you know, here it's going to start, and then as it gets bigger and bigger, it'll send out roots that become potatoes in each of those little spots. And so you could potentially have a big giant bucket full of potatoes if you just keep covering them with dirt as they keep growing. But this is just a little one, just so I can get a few potatoes started in the ground. I mean, they're going to be a little crowded in this, but they'll be fine. And as they go, I'll keep adding dirt. But that's now the potatoes. Okay, the only one I'm not planting today is the sweet potato. And like I said, I need to let it get the green slips that come out. They'll just be green leafy things coming out the top. And I've been told that all you do when that happens is you cut each of those little sprouts off. I don't know yet. Once these get to where they're going, I'll go ahead and do like a whole sweet potato video showing how they went and how I'm planting them and everything. But that's it for today, and it's a good way to use up some bits and pieces that were starting to go bad, saves you some money on seeds. You can't always guarantee how good they're going to turn out. Potatoes from store potatoes as opposed to seed potatoes are not always my favorite, but free is free. You know, and same thing with the onion. That onion was going bad. I could have thrown it out, or instead I turned it into at least 2 onion plants. But free ways to grow something, and everybody should be growing food. Y'all know I feel like that. So good luck, and holler at me if you have any questions. Thanks. Bye.